when you are talking about the topic title, The Summit Within, so which is written by Major H.P.S. Ahluwalia, right? So the author meant that there is another, or called as a summit, or called as a top of the mountain, or top of the means any object. So where one wants to reach, but that may be called as a top of the mountain, or that may be called as a top of any place. But beside that, the author stated within. Within means what? In human being. In human being, there is a summit which you present. Let's say that it's Akhil, it's your teacher, it's your parents. In all these people do have the kind of you can say that mm, the kind of ending part or a top part present, and that is what is known as a summit, and that may be called as a one's mind. So, and each man carries within himself his mountain peak. His mountain peak means wants to reach that particular place. So it means the kind of a challenge, the kind of a means determination that that are controlled by our mind is nothing but called as a summit here. And that mountain present within himself or herself, or his or her, known as a mountain peak. One must climb it to reach the last limit of his knowledge. And that's the reason the author doesn't talk about the peak of the mountain. The author talks about human being and the summit or the highest part present in his body and the mind is nothing but called as a summit here. The the author wants to convey the message. A person who has climbed a mountain peak is somehow called as a changed forever. He becomes aware of the top that present within himself or herself, and that cannot be measured by anyone else. It is difficult. It is difficult uh, peak to climb, and creates fear in a person. So, but it is required to climb this summit to understand oneself. So, therefore, when we talk about the topic, the summit within, so here the summit is referring to the mind that actually makes us realize if we want, then we can reach anywhere and everywhere. And that mind is nothing but considered as the peak of the peak of the person. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So therefore, the author wants to say that there are two summit or two uh, highest part of the object present. What are they? Now, one is outside world, and the other is called as the inside world. Outside world, where you would find out the mountain that we try to reach the peak of it, and the another one is known as a mind. So human beings carry their own summit or own means peak within themselves, which is their own mountain peak. For them, the mind is nothing but called as a top part of the body. And to control that, to reach to that level is very important. And they must climb that mountain first before you achieve the
Sir, can you say again? The human mind is what type of part?
human mind is called as a top part. Means a mind decides everything, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So if you think about it, a mind decides everything, mind controls the human's body. So therefore, mind is taken as the peak of it. Peak. It is called as a mountain peak. The top part of the means inside world. The outside world where you would find out mountain peak. So that is there where a human being must climb to reach to the top of it, right? So, but at the same time, it is also highly essential that one must climb one's, you can say that one's inner self to achieve the knowledge required for means climbing the outside world mountain that may be called as a climbing Mount Everest. Okay. Am I clear to you?
Okay, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir.
coming to the next one is all about the writer. So what does the author stated here? Let's read about him. So Major HPS Ahluwalia was a member of the first successful Indian expedition to Mount Everest in 1965. Now, when you talk about Indian expedition, so what do you mean by Indian expedition? It means called as a journey. Indian expedition to Mount Everest is called as Indian journey to Mount Everest in 1965. So how did he feel when he stood on the highest point? So which one is called as the highest point here? It is referring to the Mount Everest, or the top part of the Mount Everest in the world. Let us hear his story in his words. Climbing the summit, and then the more difficult task of climbing the summit within. So that is what it is stated. Climbing the top of the mountain is nothing but called as a one can climb. But at the same time, the more difficult task is called as the summit present, or the top part present in your body, means in one's inner self, is nothing but called as a mind. And you have to reach to that top part. Okay. So let's see that. Now the text here presents what? Of all the memory, or sorry, of all the emotions which surged through me as I stood on the summit of Everest. Now who is saying this? It is none other than HPS Ahluwalia who is saying this. So what does he say? Whatever the emotions which rised or surged, surged means called as a rised or arose through me as I stood on the summit of Everest. So looking over miles of panorama. So panorama means called as a wide view of the nature. So he could see the means a wide view below the, you can say that below the mountain, that or means below them, they were on the top of it, and means they could see the means the bottom part of it in a clear view, or view of a wide area. The dominant one, I think, was the humility. So humility means that something called as humbleness, polite. So the author here said that the physical in me seemed to say, means now from the inside world, somebody is saying that what? Thank God, it's all over. It's all over means finally he reached to the top of the means mountain that's called as Everest, isn't it? The summit of Everest. But at the same time, instead of being jubilant, so what do you mean by jubilant? Jubilant means called as very happy because of success. So he felt jovial, he felt very happy that he reached to the top of it. So, and that's why he made it, that he's appointed, it is nothing but ultimate in climbing, and there would be nothing higher to climb, and all roads hereafter would lead down. So he pointed that, uh, however, instead of being jubilant, so instead of being jubilant means instead of finding himself in a very happy mood, there was a tinge of sadness. A tinge of sadness means a slight, a shade of what, unhappiness present in him. So why that unpleasant or unhappiness? Now because I had already done the ultimate in climbing, and there would be nothing higher to climb, and all roads hereafter would lead down. So he makes a comparison. He makes a comparison that what? The Everest and other things. And he believes that he reaches to the top of it, and after reaching to the world's topmost part, so he believes that there is nothing other things, right, which will be called as higher than this. It means he reaches to the highest. So now that's what he pointed, that after this, anything or everything, or anything or everything will be called as a what? Downside or leading to down, right? And more means, or you can say that nothing will be called as a higher than this. So he also pointed, by climbing the summit of Everest, you are overwhelmed. Overwhelmed means excited. Excited by a deep sense of happiness and deep sense of thankfulness. So you feel a kind of a achievement that you did after reaching to the top of the Everest. It is a joy which lasts a lifetime. So what is a joy? Now that's something called as reaching to the top of it, right? So that's what he pointed, that reaching to the top of the mountain, Mount Everest, is nothing but called as a kind of a happiness, or the kind of excitement that he felt like nothing but what, he could not get in anywhere else. And that's why he feels a kind of a deep sense of happiness and also thankfulness to the God that to give him such kind of a success. So he pointed
Sir, I
also.
have a doubt.
Yes, ask.
Sir, isn't the meaning of joy means happiness?
Yeah, joy means happiness. A joy
But
means
you
also, joy means also known as an emotion.
but you stated reaching on top of it.
Huh. So what do you find out? Why he feels happy? Can you tell me that?
Sir, he felt happy because he climbed the summit of Everest and he also climbed the summit of it night.
Where has it mentioned that he reaches to the top part of his mind? Where has it written?
Sir, sir, I got confused. There was a tingle happiness in that line.
It is stated that, however, instead of being jubilant, so the author stated what? Thank God it is all over. So what is all over?
Also, the climbing in the Everest as
So,
they reached the summit of the Everest.
So, however, instead of being jubilant, means instead of feeling very happy because of the success, so he felt a tinge of sadness. What do you mean by tinge of sadness? That's something called as a slight unhappy thought coming to his mind. What is that? Now that's known as uh, a kind of a thought that I have already got the success, and after this there is nothing. So it means you will feel that the kind of a competitive uh, situation will not come out. So because you have reached to the top of it, and after this, no more things are there which will be means higher than this need to be climbed. And that is what the author stated. That why did he feel tinge of sadness? He felt a tinge of sadness because he had already done the ultimate. Ultimate means what? Now reaching to the final one. So climbing to the highest part of the mountain. So, and he said that after this reaching to the highest part, now you won't find out any more things to climb. And that's what make him sadness. And you also feel that, and after this, you would find out everything will reach to the downside. Let's say that you study in a 8th standard. So do you feel like if you go promote to 9th standard, or if you pass 8 and go to 9th standard, will you feel happy, or if you will be demoted and will be given to the 7th standard, you will feel happy?
No, sir.
Why don't you feel happy? Because you don't want to go down, you want to go up, right?
Yeah.
So that's what, reaching to the Everest, and after that he finds out means no more mountain is present, which is called as a higher than that. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So it means whichever the mountains are there, so they all are means
Smaller than Mount.
yeah, smaller than Mount Everest. So will he feel happy, or will he feel sad? Because
Sad.
everybody wants to go up, not everybody wants to go down, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So it is also stated, by climbing the summit of Everest, you are overwhelmed. So when the author stated that when he climbed the Mount Everest, he felt excited by a deep sense of happiness and thankfulness. It is also stated it is a joy. It is a joy which lasts a lifetime. So he felt like what? Now reaching to the top of it is nothing but called as a reaching to the means end of the or this is the kind of a happiness which present for a lifetime. He also stated the experience changes you completely. The experience changes you completely. The man who has been to the mountains is never the same again. So the author stated that means somebody who reaches to the topmost part of the mountain, which is called as the summit of Everest. So he will be different. He will be different means his um, his appearance will be changed, right? So his thoughts are different, his experience will be different. So that's why he also pointed, as I look back at life after climbing Everest, I cannot help remarking about the other summit. So he did not want to also talk about any other summit because he has already reached to the top part of the means outside world or mountain, that is Everest. He said that the summit of the mind. Now here he introduces what? Now here he introduces the inside world.
The summit of the mind.
Yeah. So he said that. Now look into it. The dash is given diverting to the one particular topic to the other topic, isn't it? So he was talking about Mount Everest, where he already reaches to the top of it. Now he is talking about the summit of the mind. He said that no less formidable and no easier to climb. So the author stated that summit or top of the mind, or called as an reaching to the knowledge of the mind, is something called as a no less formidable, no easier to climb. It is not easy. It is full of difficulty. So you can reach to the top of the mountain, but reaching to the top of the mind or top of the knowledge is something called as a struggling and difficult. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So after that, he pointed that what? Even when getting down from the summit, once the physical exhaustion had gone, I began asking myself the question why I had climbed Everest. Why I had climbed Everest. So he pointed that means getting down from the summit. So it means he came out from the Mount Everest. So he felt the kind of a tiredness. But once the physical tired or physical exertion had gone, what happened? Now he began asking himself. What did he ask himself? The question. What was the question he asked? Why he had climbed Everest?
Why I have climbed Mount Everest?
Or why he had climbed Everest, right?
Yes.
So why he had climbed Everest? So that is the question he asked himself. So why did the act of reaching the summit have such a hold on my imagination? Why did the act of reaching the summit have such a hold on my imagination? So he was passionate. He was passionate about reaching to the top of the mountain. But why that passionate was present in him, in his imagination? So he pointed that it was already a thing of the past. It was already a thing of the past means it was something which was decided, something done yesterday, right? With every passing day, it would become more remote. With every passing day, it would become more remote. More remote means called as a more silent. And then what would remain? Would my memories fade slowly away? Would my memories fade slow away? Fade means called as a, that's something called as a unclear. Would my memories means slowly disappear? All these thoughts led me to question myself as to why people climb mountains, right? It is not easy. It is not easy what? It is not easy to answer the question. So it is not easy to answer the question of what? What is that question? The question is called as why people climb mountains. So the simplest answer would be, as others have said, because it is there, right? Now it's something like a sarcastic comment or a kind of a criticism or humorous statement. So why one climb the mountain? So because it is there. So it makes a kind of a humorous statement, which was made by means Ahluwalia, Mr. Ahluwalia. It presents great difficulties. Man takes happiness in overcoming obstacles. So those who are actually taking the difficult task and doing it is nothing but doing it as the off means they find happiness by overcoming the obstacles or struggling with the difficulties. So the author stated that the obstacles in climbing a mountain are physical. So what is the problem that you find out in climbing a mountain? Now it's nothing but called as a physical problem, because you climb a big mountain or top of the mountain where you uh, feel a kind of a physical pain, physical exhaustion, tiredness, fatigue. So he also pointed a climb to a summit means endurance. So climb to summit means what? Endurance. Endurance means making yourself uh, endure or called as a tolerance, right? You tolerate everything. So it not only needs endurance, it also needs a persistence, means to do something again and again, and willpower. So your desire to do things. And it is also stated the demonstration of these physical qualities is no doubt exhilarating. So what are the things that you find out?
Can explain me and takes delight in the overcoming obstacles?
It presents great difficulties, not me, man. So it is a common statement. The common statement says man takes happiness in overcoming obstacles. Anyone. So it doesn't talk about specific Ahluwalia. It is stated about man. Any man can find happiness when he feels like what he has the obstacle or difficulties or kind of a problem, and when he overcomes that problem he feels very happy, isn't it? Let's say that you are doing a mathematics, so a question you find out very difficult, you try it again and again and again, but when you finally solve that question and you find out the answer is correct, how do you feel?
Sir, great.
So similar to that, any man takes the happiness or finds happiness when he means overcomes the problems, and that is what Ahluwalia said here, that obstacles in climbing a mountain are physical. So you find out the difficulties in climbing a mountain are nothing but a physical one. Physical means where your body, your legs, your hands, they will, they will feel tired. They will also give you pain. But climbing to the top, which is, or climbing to the top of the mountain means what? You need to tolerate, right? You need persistence. Do it again and again. You may fail once, you may fail twice, so but you do it again and again. So it also needs a willpower. So willpower means strong interest. So you believe in yourself that you definitely reach to the top. The demonstration of these physical qualities is no doubt exhilarating. Exhilarating means very exciting. So obviously, the picture of these physical qualities means climbing the summit. Uh, so where you feel the kind of a pain, toleration, con, con, continuation to do something, your strong interest. So these are the things are actually no doubt exhilarating. Exhilarating means very exciting. So the author also finds the same kind of a excitement. The author stated that I have a more personal answer to the question. When you talk about more personal answer to this, to the question is what? Now that's something called as a, from my childhood, I have been attracted by mountains. So it is nothing but the writer's own interest, willpower, persistence, toleration, everything is there. But beside that, you would find out the author has his own, personal interest to it. So why? Now, because he is attracted by mountains. He is attracted by mountains, or you can say that since his childhood, he has been attracted by mountains. The author stated that I had been miserable, right, lost when away from mountains. The author was, you could say, Ahluwalia was very much attracted towards the nature, and here you would find out means the the man felt unhappy when he went away, or means when he away from the mountains or in the plains. Mountains in the plains. Mountains are nature at its best. Their beauty, their majesty pose a great challenge. And like many, I believe that mountains are a means of communion with God. So the author's beautifies statement, the author's you can say that such kind of a beautiful statement seems like what? The author was purely uh, uh, God believer. Second is nothing but what? He is very much attracted to the nature. Third is known as a what? Now he describes mountains as the what? As the beauty of nature. Second is called as a full of powerful, right? Majesty or sophisticated. And to reach to the top of the mountain is nothing but a great challenge to one. And not only one, to like many. The author believes that what? Mountains are a means of communion with God. So it means he compares mountains with whom? Means God, and making a kind of a communication with it. The author also considered that what? Now, once having granted this, the question remains, why Everest? Because it is the highest. Now, obviously, means one wants to climb the mountains. So any mountain he can climb. Why Everest? Now, obviously, the author makes a kind of a humorous comment here. What is that? Now, he makes the comment that mountain is the highest. Everest mountain is the highest. Everest mountain is the mightiest. And it has defied many previous attempts. And has defied many previous attempts. it takes the last ounce of one's energy. It takes the last ounce of one's energy. It means if you have decided to reach to the top of the Mount Everest, then it will take all your energy. It will put you exhaustion. It will put you tired. It will make you uh, uh, it will feel you like, it will make you feel deadly. So it is a brutal struggle. Brutal means very, very horrific and also deadly struggle or difficulties with the rock and ice. So when you climb the Mount Everest, you would find out what the kind of a problem associated with the rock and ice. The author said that once taken up, once you reach to the top of it, it cannot be given up halfway. So even you have determined to reach to the top of the Mount Everest, you shall not means you shall not decide to leave it in the midst. Even when one's life is at stake. So the passage back is as the passage back is as difficult as the passage onwards. So the author also pointed that reaching to the top of the mountains, if you are in the middle of it, you shall not means leave it in the middle and want to come down or want to come back. No. So coming back is not an easy task, because coming back is as difficult as coming forward. Going forward. So therefore, the author stated the passage back is as difficult as the passage onwards. So those people who are moving, so it is difficult for them that if one is coming downward, right? And then when the summit is climbed, it means when you feel like what, when you reach to the top of the mountain or climbing to the mountain, there is the exhilaration, like I pointed. uh, so full of excitement, the happiness of having done something. You also feel like you are doing something great, the sense of a battle fought and won. So you feel like you fight a battle and you are going to win this. So there is a feeling of victory and feeling of happiness. So reaching to the Mount Everest is nothing but like you are fighting a battle and you are getting a victory. It indicates your happiness. Glimpsing a peak in the distance. Glimpsing means called as a look, putting a one look at the top of it from the very far from the top. So the author stated that he gets transported to another world. It means he felt like what different experience. He pointed, he experiences a change within himself. So it means when he finds out that he is very close to the top of the mountain, so top of the mountain, the Everest. So he felt like what? He felt the different world. He considered that what? No, that something is making him change, isn't it? Are you listening to me?
Yes, sir. Sir, in the sentence to another world, is it indicating the inside world or
Yeah,
outside?
inside world. So the outside world to the journey to inside world. Okay. So now after that, what happened? The author
So,
stated,
sir, is climbing a climbing a mountain is a journey to uh, outside world to inside world.
no. Means getting the success. Getting the success means here the author getting the success. How did he get the success? He gets the success because of the kind of exhilaration, determination, persistence, and willingness to do that, to reach to the top, and always ready to means fight with the kind of difficulties or problems that put him to the success. And that's why he feels like what, now he reaches to the top of the Mount Everest, and he feels like what, he feels like that uh, he feels like his journey is not about the top of the mountain, but his journey is to reaching to the means end of the knowledge. He feels like reaching to the top of the knowledge. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
So now it is stated that which can only be called mystical. So he felt like the journey from the mountain, top of the mountain to top of the means human or inside world is nothing but a spiritual one, right? So by its beauty, aloofness, might, ruggedness, and the difficulties encountered on the way. So the author stated that how he was how he considered the changes is nothing but a spiritual one. He also stated that the beauty present in the nature, the aloofness, the attractive images, the power, and the ruggedness or battle and the difficulties he met on the way. The peak drudged me to it. So finally, he reaches to the peak of the mountain, as Everest did it. As Everest did means what? Now he pointed that uh, the kind of journey he did, that journey lead him to the means top of his knowledge, like or as Everest did. As Everest did means as he reached to the top of the Everest, and how top of the Everest attracts him. So the author also said it is a challenge that is difficult to stop, resist. You cannot, stop taking that challenge or facing that challenge. You want to overcome the challenge. The author also said that looking back, I find that I have not yet fully explained why I climbed Everest. So the author simply made a kind of a statement that what when it was asked a question to him that why I climbed Everest, he made a humorous statement by saying that means climbing Everest is nothing but because the mountain is present there, right? He made a humorous joke. He did not explain that, but now he pointed that he did not explain why did he climb Everest, and his answer he is saying it is like answering a question why you breathe, why you breathe. So that is what. So according to the writer, that why one means climbed the mountain. Now because uh, it's not about that its presence in the world. So it's because your interest or how much determined to reach your top of the goal. And that's why he made the point like uh, climbing to the mountain, Mount Everest is exactly like giving answer to a question that why you breathe. Why we breathe? We breathe so that we can survive, right? So why do you help your neighbor? Why do you want to good acts? There is no final answer possible. So he said that why do you breathe? Why do you help your neighbor? Why do you want to do good acts? So if you see these are the question, there is no final answer possible. And then there is the fact that Everest is not just a physical climb. Then what is Everest? Now, the man who has been to the mountain top becomes conscious in a special manner of his own smallness in this large universe. The fact is what? Now, Everest is not just a physical climb. So he said that reaching to the top of the mountain gives him not only the physical happiness or called as a physical climb, he considered that the man who has been to the mountaintop becomes conscious. Conscious means aware, aware in a spatial manner of his own smallness in this large universe. He feels that what? Now how he reaches to the top of the world, and that's why he feels like he is not a small one, right? So his confidence level is very high. So he also pointed the physical conquest of a mountain. So what did he say? Now, the physical conquest of a mountain is only one part of the achievement. So he said that what now reaching to the top of the mountain is nothing but the physical victory of a mountain is only what? Now is only nothing but considering as a is only part of the achievement, right? It is not the only part of the achievement, or the physical victory of a mountain is only one part of the achievement. So it means the author wanted to say that there is another part of the achievement also. What is that? He said that the physical conquest of a mountain is only one part of the achievement. There is more to it than that. So it is followed by a sense of fulfillment. So you feel like what reaching to the top of the mountain is nothing but an achievement, but it is not only one part of the achievement. It is something like a sense of fulfillment. You feel like what you have won a battle. You feel like what you have reached to the top of the world, and you also feel like what now you are not small, right? So it is stated that there is the satisfaction of a deep request to rise above one's surroundings, right? So one feels like means he that how he is rising above his own surrounding, like he is better than other people. He has some special quality. He also said that it is the eternal love. Eternal love means that something called as a permanent happiness for adventure in man. The experience is not merely physical, it is emotional, it is spiritual. So, not only the human's body associated in climbing, it is also called as an emotion associated with the adventure, and the kind of a communication between nature with the human body is nothing but a spiritual. So he said that consider a typical climb, difficult climb or typical climb towards the summit on the last heights. You are sharing a rope with another climber. You farm in, you comfort, you feel like you easily means reach to the destination because you are in the at the end of it. You farm in. He cuts the steps in the hard ice. He cuts the steps in the hard ice. Then he belays and you inch your way up. The climb is a grim. So you strain every nerve as you take every step. So famous climbers have left records of the help given by, uh, yeah, given by whom?
Given by others.
Yeah, so given by others. So the author wants to make a point here that consider a typical climb. So if you find out the difficult climbing you are doing towards the top of the mountain on the last height, on the last portion where you, once you cover that, you reach to the top of it. And you are sharing a rope with another climber. You are also helping to the another person who is also wants to, who is also want, who also wants to reach to the top of the mountain. So you are sharing a rope. It means it's like what you are in a competition, and in that competition, what you are doing means you are in the winning position, but at the same time you are also helping to another person to win the competition, right? So what will happen? So he said that he cuts the steps in the hard ice, then he belays. Belays means he fixes a rope, and
Sir, how sharing a rope with another climber, it is a competition?
No, let me point out. I'm not saying that it's a. See, if you think about the competition, in competition, so whoever reaches is called as the first one, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Now, let me point out here the author and authors, other means other people who are on the means who are also trying to climbing to that particular summit. Now, what you find out here, it is stated You are sharing a rope with another climber. You farm in. He cuts the steps in the hard ice. Then he fixes a rope. You inch your way up. The climb is serious. Climb is called as a tough and difficult. You strain every nerve as you take every step. You do very hard to take every step to reach to the top. Famous climbers have left records of the help given by others. What do you mean by that? Now, this indicates that famous climbers means unable to called as get the record. Why? Now, because they help to the other people to do the record, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Why do they do that? Now they help to the other people, so they have also recorded how they needed just that help. So it is clearly stated that the author wants to convey means while you are reaching to the top of the mountain, it is your duty that you also help to the other people to reach to the same position. But in competition, what happened? In competition, it happens like when one helps to the other, maybe the person who's supposed to reach to the top first or cross the line first.
Sometimes they betray it.
Yeah. So sometimes what happened? The other person reaches to the goal first, and the person who helped so left last. So that's what it is stated. You strain every nerve as you take every step. Famous climbers have left records of the help given by others. They have also recorded. Who have? Now, these famous climbers have also recorded. So, these famous climbers have also recorded how they needed just that help, right? So, else they might have given up. So, obviously, one who helps to the others, so the one also gets the help from others, isn't it? Like if you help to the others, so obviously you must be helped by others, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So that is what the author stated, that one who helps to the others have also recorded how they needed just that help. So else that might have given up. So breathing is difficult. You curse yourself for having let yourself in for this. So the author stated that what means while you are climbing the mountain, you feel like the difficult task is called as a breathing. You cannot breathe. So you feel like what? You scold yourself. That what? Now having let yourself in for this. So why you came uh, uh, for the journey of reaching to the Everest, reaching to the top of the Everest. So you will curse for that. You wonder why you ever undertook the ascent. Ascent means called as a rising to the top, because the difficulties will make you in such a situation that you feel that you did a wrong. There are moments when you feel like going back. So you feel like what sometime means you would return, right? So it would be a sheer relief to go down. So if you go down, you feel relaxed, right? Instead up. But almost at once you snap out of that mood. Snap out means what? If you break that mood, the mood that will give you negative vibes, negative emotions. Negative emotions like now you will scold upon yourself, you want to go down, you want the comfortability. So there is something in you that does not let you give up the. So the author pointed that there is something in you. If you really want to reach to the top or get a success, right, then definitely these are the negativity will come to your mind. But there is something in you. So that is called as a struggle. And you go on. So, and what happened to that? And you go on. Your companion or your partner keeps up with you. Or keeps up with you means continue with you. Just another 50 feet. or 100? Maybe you ask yourself, is there no end? So you feel like exhausted and you always want for the what? How soon you reach to the top. You look at your associate or companion and he looks at you like you have you have you have made the climbing in a group, and you look at your friend and your friend looks at you, and you all the time praise that how quickly you reach to the top of the Everest. You draw inspiration from each other. So when one reaches to the uh, so one step ahead, you also want to reach to the another step ahead. So this is something called as influence that happens from one to the other, inspiration that you draw from one to the other. And then what happened? Without first being aware of it, you are at the summit. So, and you don't know when you reach to the top of the mountain. So, looking around from the summit, you tell yourself that it is worthwhile. It is worthwhile means it is beneficial. Other silvery peaks appear through the clouds. Other silvery peaks appear through the clouds means what? Now you could also find out other people also coming out through the clouds. It means other your associates, other people, so they also come through clouds. If you're lucky, the sun may be on them, right? Sun may be on them means what? Now they will also reach to the top of the mountain, and they will also uh, um, they also get the test of success. The surrounding peaks means called as a, not only Mount Everest is there, it is also other mountains which are surrounded to it, look like a jeweled necklace. So the author made a poetical statement that how the series of mountains look like what? Series of mountain uh, look like a jeweled necklace around the neck of your summit. Below you, so here you would find out the Everest is nothing but called as a the neck, right? Everest is called as a neck, and the other mountains are known as what? Other mountains are known as a jewelry around the neck. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So below you see.
Sir, like all mountains are small compared to Everest.
Yes. So it is stated that below you see vast valleys sloping into the distance. So vast valleys means a huge valleys which were moving downwards into the distance. Distance means far from the place. It is also said that it is an ennobling. Ennobling means noble effect, enriching experience. You find out the very good moment to just look down from the top of the mountain.
Sir, what is the meaning of noble impact?
Ennobling का मतलब होता है, ennobling means something called as a making you new, or something like a very fine, right? Or something which is called as an innovative experience. Innovative means that something called as a new experience, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So after that, the author stated here that ennobling, enriching, high experience, to just look down from the summit of a mountain. You bow down, you put your head down and make your options. Make your options means what? You it seems like what? You finally surrender, right? You surrender to whichever god you worship. So you pray to the god that you got the success because of it, or you pray to the god that it has given you the opportunity to reach to the top. So the author said that I left on Everest a picture of Guru Nanak. So what he did on the top of the Everest? So he said that he sends, or he left on Everest a picture of Guru Nanak. Rawat, another companion of him. So he left a picture of Goddess Durga. Fu Dorji, another one, left a relic of the Buddha. So, and Edmond Hillary had buried across under a can. So who is Edmund Hillary? The first
Sorry,
who reached to the top of the Everest mountain, right? So
it's our companion who was carrying on with HPS.
mm, so a heap of rocks and stones in the snow, right? These are not just these are not symbols of victory, but of respect. Reverence means called as a respect. Respect for what? So respect for means each and every one, right? It is something called as a respect to your own country. So the experience of having climbed to the top of the mountain changes you completely from inside. So the author stated at the end of it, there is another summit. Summit means another, means a part of the, means a top part of the mountain. Present in yourself. What is that? It is in your own mind. So if you win your mind, it means you reach to the, again, top of the mountain. Each man carries within himself his own mountain peak. He must climb it to reach to a fuller knowledge of himself. So let's say that you're sleeping on the bed in the morning time and you have a tuition or you have a class, right? And at the same time, what happened? So you feel like what you cannot get up from your, means get up from your bed. So why? Now because your mind says you sleep on the bed, whereas means you also think that you have a you have a tuition, but you prefer sleeping on the bed. So it is because of your mind. So the author stated that your job is to win over mind. It means that you must decide that you should wake up or get up from the bed and prepare yourself for the tuition. So that will be called as a win over your own mind. Each man carries within himself his own mountain peak. He must climb it to reach to a fuller knowledge of himself. He also said that how you can win over this mind. Now, when you means make your mind full with the knowledge, so it is fearful and unscalable. So you can't means you can't measure it how big or how uh, means how high this mind is, right? Or how high this mountain is. Yeah.
Sir, in here is stated that can only man only man win over their mind. Their mind.
What happened to this?
So can only man win over their man, not women.
So here it is indicating about what? Now, when you are talking about man and woman, so as we are talking about Ahluwalia, right?
Yes, sir.
So he is telling about himself, right? That if each man carries within himself his own mountain peak, so he must climb it to reach to a fuller knowledge of himself. It means those who want to climb over, those who want to climb the top of the mountain, who want to reach to the top of the top of the mountain. So they need to what? They need to also reach to the top of the mountain or top of the mind simply by what? Now feeling himself or herself with the knowledge. So it is not indicating that man and woman. Why are you thinking like that? It is stating that everyone, each man carries within himself his own mountain peak. So he must reach to the top part of it by nothing but feeling with all the knowledge of himself. It is fearful, unscalable. So means you can't measure it, you can't also means you can also feel that means how fearful or terrible it is. It cannot be climbed by anyone else. So look into it. It is stated what? It cannot be climbed by anyone else. You yourself have to do it. So the physical act of climbing to the top of the mountain is what? Outside is relating to the act of climbing the mountain within. So the author is indicating about two world. One is the outside world and the other one is called as inside world. So if you want to reach to the top of the outside world, first you have to win over your inside world, inside mountain, right? So, or you have to reach to the top of the inside world. So the author also stated that what? The effects of both the climbs are the same. Effects of both the climbs means one is called as an inside mountain and the other one is called as an outside mountain. So to reach to the top of the outside mountain, you need to reach to the top of your inside mountain, right? And if you think of it, both the struggle or the struggle and the result of both the inside and outside mountains, climbing to the mountains, are the same. Whether the mountain you climb is a physical or emotional and spiritual. So the climb will surely change you, definitely. So it teaches you much about the world and about yourself. So I venture. So venture means I allow to think that my experience as an Everester has provided me with the inspiration to face life's ordeals. Ordeals means that called as a painful experiences or difficulties resolutely with a full of determination. Climbing the mountain was a very worthwhile or very good experience. The victory of the internal summit, the victory of internal summit means victory of winning over the means inner part of the mountain, right, is equally worthwhile. So he stated that he has not only reaches to the top of the world's top of the mountain, which is Everest, right? He also win over the internal part of or internal top part of the world, top part of the mountain, and he feels the same kind of a satisfaction, same kind of a happiness. He also said that the internal summits are perhaps higher than Everest. So the internal summit, so he makes it strong and he makes himself feel that what the internal uh, uh, mountain, which is called as a mind, which is more difficult than the difficulties that he faces uh, to climb the Everest. And he also points out that internal summits are higher than the Everest. So his point of stating that the summit within is nothing but the mountain presence in your inside world is more essential than the climbing to the mountain outside of the world, right? So it is none other than HPS Ahluwalia who share his own experience how he means climbs the Mount Everest. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
That's all for the day. Thank you. We'll meet in the next class. I'll share you the question also. Okay.
Sir, when will be the next class?
I think tomorrow or maybe on Wednesday. Okay. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Bye.